Hello everyone, this is Rafael, a beginner in chess, and most of what is understood came from going through the course and slowly realizing how the game really works beyond just moving pieces. Um, this game is one of those moments where things are started to click. Not perfectly, but enough to see patterns, ideas, and consequences. So this is the breakdown of of the chess that I played. Now I played the black side, so let's the game begins.
The pawn goes to e5. This is just standard. Fighting for the center, something that kept coming up in the lessons. Control first before anything else. This already feels unusual. Instead of developing white pushes a side pawn, it doesn't really challenge the center. The pawn goes to d6. This supports the e5 pawn and keeps the position flexible. Simple but correct. The knight from b8 goes to c6, developing while protecting the center. This felt like following the basics properly. The knight from g8 goes to f6. Now both knights are active. Control is balanced. The knight jumps from c6 to d4. This move feels strong. It puts pressure immediately and target weak squares. This is where the idea of being active instead of passive started to show. The knight from d4 captures on f3. This is a good decision, trading but also damaging the pawn structure. This connects to the lesson about weakening the opponent's king. White takes the pawn. Now the structure is broken. Doubled pawns and exposed king. This is already feels like advantage. Pawn to h6, pushing the bishop. A small move, but it keeps control. Pawn from g6 to g5. This is aggressive, pushing again and gaining space. It feels risky, but it follows the idea of attacking the king. Pawn from h6 to h5, continuing the push. At this point, the plan is clear. Open the king side. What gives a check, but it doesn't improve the position. It feels like a move without a clear plan. Bishop from 6-8 to d7 blocks the check. Simple and efficient. Pawn from h5 to h4, continuing pressure, not stopping the attack. Pawn from h4 captures on g3. This is a key moment. opening the king's position. This is where the attack really begins. Rook from h8 goes to h2 and captures the pawn. This move feels strong. The rook becomes very active inside the opponent's position. Pawn from b7 to b6. This is a quiet move, preparing development. It shows that not every move has to attack. This is a mistake. The rook move the rook moves into dangerous without a support. Knight from f6 captures the rook on g8. This is a turning point. Winning a rook gives a clear advantage. Rook from h2 goes to f2, capturing another pawn. Still active, still aggressive. Queen from d8 to give g5, giving a check. This keeps pressure and forces the king into a worse position. Queen from g5 to g1, increasing pressure. Everything is coordinated. White tries to counterattack, but it feels too late. King from e8 to d8, calm move. No need to rush. Rook from f2 goes to f1, capturing again. Still controlling the position. Rook from f1 goes to c1, capturing the rook and delivering a checkmate.
Looking at this game now, it really shows how the lessons from the course started to connect. It wasn't about just playing perfect moves, and it was all about understanding the ideas. The move knight on d4 and takes knight f3 with a check showed how important it is to create weaknesses early. The pawn pushes g5 and h5 looked risky before, but now they make sense. They were used to open lines against the king. The biggest moment was knight takes on g8. Once that rook was taken, the game shifted completely. This game made one thing clear. King safety is not optional. Once the king becomes exposed, even simple attacks becomes dangerous. And honestly, this kind of game takes more than reading the theory, because it shows that what happens when ideas are actually applied, even in mess way.